Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello. It's Grace here. Happy Monday morning. We're going to be creating with this sweet little gnome. It's a printable that you can get off my website. Sweet little gnome graphic that I created this morning. We're going to be creating with this. I'm out of breath because I'm going to be mixing up some paint with some molding paste / gesso. We're going to be mixing this stuff up. And I left my little container in the kitchen. So I just had to run across the house and go get that. I'm gonna start mixing right away. I'm gonna grab this feed on my iPad so I can see the comments because they're a little far away on my phone right there. So how is everybody this Monday morning? How many cups of coffee are you in? How many have you had? I'm on number 2, I think. Not too bad. Let's see. I left. Oh, good morning, Tracy. Hello, I see you. Now let me just see if I could grab the feed. So, there we are. There are the comments. Yay. Good morning, Adrienne. How are you? And Nicole is here. And Amber. Good morning, Amber. Hey, Anne and Jennifer. Okay, I'm mixing. I want the background to be this really pretty celery color paint. I've had this forever, you guys. It's really thick. It is in there. It's really thick. I've had this for years. This is why I like buying smaller bottles of paint, because even with as much creating as I do, this stuff lasts forever. Okay, this is molding paste / gesso. Did you see how thick it is? I want to be able to spread this on my surface, but I want it to be tinted with this color. The celery green. So I'm going to try to mix the two right here in this little plastic container. And I don't even think I need that much, but we're going to mix it so we get like kind of a celery green molding paste is what I'm looking for here. And I don't need it to be perfect because I'm probably going to put some other paint colors on top of it. But see what I'm getting here? We're just getting this molding paste that's this really pretty soft green color. Because I want to create a textured background for my little gnome. And I don't know, we're going to get this on a surface and I may just also stencil on it. Not quite sure. We're just going to figure this out as we go. Good morning, Patty. Hello, Barbara. Barbara already said, I love this little gnome. He's so cute. Good morning, Tracy. Thanks for being here and sprinkling. So I am here. Tracy is our coordinator at Craft Round the Clock. That is a group here on Facebook. It is free, you guys. It's a free group here on Facebook that you can join where Tracy organizes our schedule. I don't know. Somebody said the other day there are over 100 creators. I don't know if that's true. I don't know the number, but a lot of people, there's a lot of us that are creating around the clock. So every 45 minutes, a new crafter goes live Monday through Friday, basically from like 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. So if you like creating and crafting and you want to see more ideas, you want to get introduced to more creatives, more people, join the free group. It's called Craft Round, R-O-U-N-D. No, not around, round the clock. Craft Round the Clock. Okay. I have that, the link to that like plastered all over the place on my page. So you can find it, but if you need it, let me know. Today I didn't get that link in time on the description, but Craft Round the Clock, all you have to do is search on Facebook and you're searching for a group. It's free. And there's lots of fun, creative, fantastic people, both men and women, sharing their creations in there. Everything from wreaths to stenciling to just anything you can imagine. A lot of refurb stuff. Okay, that's a very light, pretty color. And I think I have it mixed pretty well. So we're going to start spreading this because I need to give it time to dry. I'm using this surface. Okay, it's a little wooden surface, nice and smooth, no sanding needed, smooth as heck. It's chunky, so of course you can put hangers on this. We used these the other day to create this little tray, this little riser. I have this kit on my website if you wanted to make the riser with the little feet and the tissue paper for the top. But I'm going to use that same board and we're going to put this little gnome on here. But first I'm going to get some texture on the board. So that's what we're going to do first. Good morning. Hello, Amanda. And Tammy's here, text BFF. That means she's on my texting service. The number's right there. If you want to get text alerts from me, you just send the word alerts to me at that number. Text me using your texting service. Good morning, Monica and Nancy. Thank you for sprinkling, Miss Monica. You guys, it helps so much if you can hit that share button. If you do that for anybody who you're watching, doesn't matter if it's a creative, like an artist, if it's a chef, it's a musician, if it's a motivational speaker, a fitness guru that you find on Facebook, and if they are doing something that you appreciate and you think other people will get value from or just be entertained by, go ahead and hit that button because it helps us all so much. Us business owners get spread out there. You're introducing us to new people, and we so appreciate that. Hey, Lynn. Good morning, Lynn. Hey, Renee. Andrea's here, Tamara's here, good morning. So if you guys are here from Craft Round the Clock, if you found me because of Craft Round the Clock, let me know in the comments. I would love to know if you're new, if you're hanging out here new for the first time, let me know in the comments. Okay, we're gonna take this thick molding paste. I've got my board here. Let me see if I can get you down a little bit more. There we go. I'm just gonna spread it, girls. We're going for some texture here. And this guy is gonna go in the, I think maybe a little upper right because I have a stencil that says hello, and I might put it in the lower left. So I'm going to get the texture kind of all around that. And so all I'm doing is I'm using my little knife here, my palette knife, to spread this out to create some texture. And I think I'm going to end up painting a little more over that. Oh, I might need more of this. We might need to mix more of this. I'm going to try to leave the part where the gnome is going a little bit more smooth because he's on tissue paper. I printed him on tissue paper on my color printer here at home. And I want to leave a little bit of smoothness where he's going to go. But all around him, I want to create this texture. So I've got to get that texture medium on there first. Struggling a little bit here. Let me move the gnome over so he doesn't get any texture medium on him yet. And we're going to move this up and we're just going to start spreading. Now, here's the thing. You can take your texture medium right from the bottle and put it on your project and not color it first. You don't have to color it first. You can put it on there white and then paint it. Most of them are acrylic base. So if you're using acrylic paints, you can just paint right over it. But I thought I would just tint it to give me a running start here. That's what I was thinking I'd do. I love this color, this celery. Does anybody else like this celery green? I love it so much. And I'm almost running out of it. I'm gonna have to go get another bottle. It's just, I have some left. It's just so thick. In fact, if I grab some of this out of here, like guys, look how thick it is. When your paint gets this thick, if you're not trying to blend, all right, see the difference in color because I did not add any of the molding paste to that. So you can see the difference in color, which I really like. So I have some lighter green and we're gonna go straight from the bottle with that dark, thick paint. And we're gonna come on top of that texture. And we're creating just a textured background for a little gnome. Just a textured little background. And you can use whatever applicator you have on hand. You could use a butter knife. You could use an old credit card. Use just whatever you have on hand. You don't have to have fancy tools and supplies. You don't. I want to, all of this stuff here, where the gnome's gonna go, I'm gonna spread it out down here, where I may be doing some stenciling. See, I just wanna get that texture on there. Oh, I love it. And I love palette painting. I just think it's so fun and different and liberating. Hey, Tracy. Hello, Cindy. Good morning in Texas. Good morning, Kathy and Tammy Brockman. Thanks for sprinkling, Miss Tracy. Fluff in the nest. Good morning, Shelly. What's everybody up to today? Wendy and Sophie and Cindy and Jimmy Lou. No, Jimmy Weissel. You are here. Hello, I have not heard from you in a while. So welcome back, my friend. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing well. All right, let's see. So we got like some interesting texture going on here. And I really didn't end up using a lot. I want to scrape it. I don't want texture on the edges. So before we let this dry, we're going to scrape off whatever went on the edges. And we're just gonna spread it in the middle here. And you can do lots of things with this texture. Like if you wanted to have peaks and valleys, you just put a flat thing on there and lift it up, and it's gonna give you like a different look. So I think I'm gonna do that around the edges, not everywhere, but I think around the edges, I'm gonna add a little bit of, it almost looks like a stucco finish because it's so thick, the paint. Don't ever throw away your thick paint. Don't throw it away. It can always be used. It can be mixed in things. It can be used to create texture. It's like modeling paste, molding paste all on its own without any help. You can also use acrylic mediums, like liquid mediums, to thin it out if you need to. All right, that's perfect. I'm softening up the edges of where I just put that, like that stucco texture. And I'm probably going to go over this with a little bit of paint as well. But this is what we got so far, friends. This is what we got so far. Oh, see that right there? I don't want that there. I don't want texture. I'm going to paint that edge, but I don't want texture on the edges. I just want it around. I'm trying to get it really close so you can see. It just makes for a very visually interesting background for our little Gnome here. All right, I need to leave it alone because I could play for days. Oh, let me cover this corner, I guess, with that excess I had. I could play for days with the texturing part. Now what I'm gonna do, while this is drying, I'm gonna attempt to take that green paint and paint it around the edges. I've got my little container here that had my molding paste in it. So I'm gonna put that aside, put these guys aside. There's some excess here. I don't want to waste it. I'm so frugal. I'm so frugal. What's everybody doing? Who's creating and crafting today? And what are you working on? Thank you for sharing, Miss Deb, for fluffing the nest. Hello, Vine and Silk Designs. Welcome, welcome. Janine is here. Hey, Janine, thanks for the stars. Hey, girlfriend, you're on a 3-week streak. Thank you for that. Very cute little gnome. Isn't this darling, you guys? I created it this morning. And I put it on my website. You can buy the printable. So you see it prints on like an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, but the gnome itself is 6 by 6.5. So it'll fit on lots of surfaces. You could even put it, I'm thinking this would make a great journal page, which I may use it for later. But today I was feeling like, let's work on a board. Like, let's actually work on a board today. I've been doing a lot of paper crafting. I love paper crafting and journaling and making junk journals and all that jazz. All right, I don't want to waste what I got left on there. All right, it's going in the water. I got to give it up. We're going to paint the edges a little bit. So I'm going to grab a little paintbrush and my celery colored paint. It's very, look how thick it is. It's really not spreadable. This was what I was saying. If you have really thick paint, don't throw it out. I always used to add water to that to liquefy it a little bit. But today I'm going to add some of my liquid medium. It's an acrylic medium, and it'll extend your paint, and it will also help to loosen it up if it's really thick. So I'm going to mix that in with that so that now it's more spreadable. That's all I did. Nothing really too life-altering there. All right, here we go. It's really nice when you know what supplies are out there that you can use in your creative life, and then what they do, what their properties are, and how you can use them. And I'm really passionate about teaching that to people, because I feel like when you feel more empowered, when you know what's out there, when you know what tools to use, then you're gonna have more fun. You're just gonna have more fun. I certainly do. All right, we need a lot more of this. So I'm grabbing another big chunk of it, a little bit of that wet medium. And it's an acrylic medium. It's meant to be mixed with acrylic paints. So we're just gonna do that so I can spread this easily while my top is drying. I will end up taking a dryer to this, and then we're gonna decoupage that Gnome right on this surface. So see what we're getting here? Painting the edges. This is already starting to dry, which is beauteous because we've got some creating to do here. Good morning from Louisiana, Miss Denise Tex, BFF. Watching from Australia, Miss Chris Tompkins. Oh, it's late night there. What time is it, Chris? Tell us. My friend Sharon from I Restore Stuff, she's in Australia. So it's funny, whenever we try to have a little like Zoom meeting, we always have to be very conscious of the fact that she's like a 12-hour difference or something wild like that where she is. So let us know, Chris. Thanks for the stars, Janine and Tammy. You guys are the best. Good morning, Debbie Yates. You're loving the gnome? Anne from Whimsically Nodded. She says, I'm loving the gnome. Hey, Kathy, thanks for those stars. You guys are treating me good this morning. Holy buckets. Look at all those stars, you guys. That's awesome. I appreciate y'all so much. Oh, Tracy, thank you for the stars. You guys are like, you're like making my day today. You're making things so easy and fun today. Thanks for supporting the page. Good morning, Terry and Cindy and Ellen. Oh my gosh, Christy and Deborah, thank you for the stars. You guys are just, you're spoiling me today. I love it. Gosh, you're making me feel special. All right, I should have brought my little roundabout out here so I could turn this around. It's all wet on top, but I need to hold it down so I could do the painting. I gotta get these sides painted up. And then we're gonna take the dryer to it quick so that we can get our gnome on here. So I printed my gnome. Let's talk about this for a minute. So I have a few printables. I'm just dipping my toes into the printable world, right? Because I have a lot of graphics that I create in Canva or elsewhere, mostly in Canva though. I have a lot of graphics that I think you guys would really enjoy. So I've figured out how to offer those on my website. So when you purchase they're all $1. When you purchase one, you can print it out from home. And when you purchase it, you get it immediately. Like you purchase it and the next screen is the downloadable file for you to print it out so that you can create with it. So I just listed this one this morning. It's $1. Told you it's about 6 by 6.5. I printed mine on tissue paper with my color inkjet printer. Now, this inkjet printer is nothing special. I bought it like 5 or 6 years ago and it cost me like $50 at Walmart. That was 5 or 6 years ago. It is nothing. It's not like a professional grade printer, you guys. It's just an inkjet printer. It has a copier and a scanner and it was very inexpensive 5 years ago. It still works. I still print beautiful prints from it to craft with all the time. So if you don't have a color printer at home and you want to get into the world of printables, if you want to start using printables, it might be worth the $50 investment. There's no lie about it. The ink, it can be expensive, but it lasts me a long time. It'll last you even longer if you're not running a creative business. Like if you're not printing things for like multiples. So I print when I make kits and sometimes send stuff out. I have to print it on color. So if you don't have that going on, it's going to last you a very long time. Let me grab some wipes for my hands. So let's talk about this though. When you print something that you want to use in a project from home, the type of printer that you have will affect what you get. Like, okay, so there's laser printers and they use toner, and then there's inkjet printers, or sometimes they're called deskjet printers. They use ink. Toner and ink are different. They have different properties. They do different things. Some are more expensive than others. So when you're looking for a printer, just do your homework on how much the print or the toner or the ink costs. But generally, when I use my laser printer, generally, the toner is pretty permanent on that paper, whatever I printed on. But when I use my inkjet, it's not permanent, meaning I print it out and the ink, if I put anything wet on there, which I'm going to do, the ink is going to smear because it's not permanent. It's not permanent. It's water soluble. So what I did with this is I sprayed some fixative on it just to make sure that it won't move around. What some people will do is they'll let it sit and dry for a good few hours and then they will heat set it. You can heat set it sometimes with either an iron or like your heating tool. Just heat it up real good and that will like set that ink for you. But it's doable. And if you don't have a printer at home, you can take it somewhere like, sometimes your library has a color printer that you can use. Sometimes, well, you can take it to Office Max or Office Depot or any of those office goods stores. They will do, or a printing shop. I don't have any printing shops. We have a local printing shop, but none of the major chains, because I live in a pretty small town. We don't have any of those stores, the major chains. So take it to a local print shop and they can do it for you. You just need the digital file. Pull it up on your phone or something and they'll help you get it worked out. So it's really fun to be able to do that because you don't have to wait for anything to get to you in the mail. You have it immediately as soon as you purchase it. Does anybody else buy printables to create with? Hey Terry, hey Monica, thank you for those stars. You can get the wood piece, Deborah, on my website. I sell these pieces on my website. Like I said, last week we did this kit, this farmhouse riser kit. And this kit on my website comes with the legs, the tissue paper, that really pretty tissue paper, and the board. I'm using the same board for this. And you can just buy the board on my website, thecomfynestwithgrace.com. It's a party? Did we get a party? I didn't see it. I missed it. Did we get a stars party? Deb, I didn't see it. Tell me if you guys saw that. Oh no, Monica. And Deb, thank you for the stars. You love the stucco look? Lynn, it's so easy. You saw me. Just take anything flat. It doesn't have to be a palette knife. It can be an old credit card. It can be a butter knife from your kitchen that you're willing to donate to your craft room or go get one from like the thrift store. And spread that paint, thick paint, or find a molding paste like this one. Modeling molding paste. See how it says this one's gesso and modeling paste in one. But there are lots of brands of modeling paste. Like Golden has some, Liquitex has some. You'll find lots of them out there in the world. A stars party, I missed it. Linda, she's saying congratulations. I totally missed it. So my phone is here. That's what I'm pointing at. That's what I'm broadcasting from. Janine, we got a star party. Tita, it's so exciting. Usually on my phone, like I'll get the stars will like burst all over the phone. Does that happen on your screen too? I'm reading the comments over here on my iPad so I can see them because my eyes need the help. And I missed the stars party. But thank you, I so appreciate. Thank you, Kathy, for stars. Kathy Chef. Oh, you sent me 2 sets of stars. You're on a 3-week streak, my friend. Linda, thank you for sprinkling. Who's creating crafting today? Oh yes, Michelle. Michelle said this would be gorgeous with a stenciled flower in the middle too. This texture, you know, this texture that we create, it's so easy to do, you guys. And it just makes a really interesting and nice background. I'm not a huge fan of solid painted backgrounds. It just seems so plain to me, and there's just so much we can do with our supplies that we don't have to be so plain. And making texture, you can make texture with sponges, with tissue paper, like ball up some tissue paper and dab on the paint. You can make texture with all kinds of stuff. So play and have some fun doing that for yourself. Tracy's watching her grandkids until 4 o'clock today. What fun. Hey, Carol T Studio. Hey, Carol, how are you? Another Craft Around the Clock sister here visiting. Thanks for being here. I know I missed it, Tammy. She said you missed your party. I totally missed it. But I'm super happy. Bronwyn, thank you for the stars. Thanks for contributing to that party. Oh, Lynn's going to her local pool for exercise soon. Physical therapy for her shoulder in a few hours. And finally out to a friend's to finish painting yard ornaments. Aw. Lynn, you have a very full, blessed day ahead of you. Yes, Debbie, I love teaching about supplies. I love it, I love it. All right, I'm gonna hit this with some like fast, loud air for a minute. It's doing pretty good. I need to hit this corner. I can feel it. You know how I know? Okay, when I put my hand on it, nothing's coming up on my hand. So it's dry enough for that. Like that's not doing anything. However, I have the thickest parts are the edges where I have that stucco. You can see the raised paste and the raised paint. Can you see how it's like raised up? So you definitely want to make sure. These parts are cool to the touch. They're cool. So they're a little bit damp yet. So I can tell they need more air. And the color changes as it dries. So I can tell that it's drying. Yeah. Okay, I think it's dry enough for what we need to do next, and that's work with our Gnome. So let's grab our little gnome. I have this little stencil aside because I was thinking it would be really cute to put hello here. I wouldn't use the sunshine, I would just use the hello, but I'm gonna use this, and we're going to decoupage him right on here. Now, I only want the gnome and the house. I don't want all the tissue paper. I printed this tissue paper right from my printer here at home using the printable that I put on my website today. You can purchase it, it's just $1, just $1, and then you can use it as much as you want. What I'm gonna do is tear around the house to get this house more like concentrated. I don't need all this extra paper. I don't. So I'm just using my fingers and I'm pinching the paper, the tissue paper around so that I get down to my Gnome, my little Gnome in his house. Okay, it doesn't matter that your paper's wrinkled because we're gonna be wetting it and we're gonna be decoupaging it on here. So when you wet it, it's gonna it's gonna smooth out that paper a little bit. I actually like the wrinkles, to be truthful with you, and my background is very textured, so it's gonna be textured. That's what I'm trying to get at, is a textured little Gnome here on this. And I think that I picked the right color in terms of a background. That will look really cute. Now you have choices. You could, if you really wanted to, you could grab a pair of scissors and you could cut, like you could get in as close as you can to all of the design elements of your Gnome. And that's gonna give you as little paper. You can go right up to the design, actually. You can get rid of all the white if you want to. The white tissue paper, I'm really confident that the white tissue paper is just gonna melt into the background and we won't even see it. But see what I'm doing is this is called fussy cutting. And I'm fussy cutting around the design elements so that what I get is just the design elements. Now, I'm not gonna be super picky about it because I'm pretty certain this paper is just gonna melt into my background. So when I say I'm not gonna be super fussy cutting, I'm not fussy cutting around the lantern. You can get your scissor up into there and fussy cut all the way around that. I am a lazy crafter. I'm just not doing it. Good morning and happy Monday, Deborah Bolts. It's a pretty color, isn't it? Chris is saying from, she's in Australia, and she's saying it's 11:30 p.m. She's getting ready for bed, and we're all just waking up. I thought it was like a 12-hour difference. It's actually more than that. All right, so see what I'm doing? I'm just getting rid of, I could have done this right from the beginning, right, with my scissors, but I wanted to show you that you can just tear it. You don't have to get super fancy with your scissors, but if you want to, you can. You have choices. Well, I always say, you do you, girl. When you're creating and crafting, you do you. And which one is better? I don't know. I think you have to try both of them out and decide which one you like more. I tend to tear because it's just my style, and I like things to be rustic and chippy and distressed and not perfect. So I tend to tear and use those torn edges in my design, but you can, if you don't want it. See, now it looks like a big sticker. It looks like a big embellishment that you can buy, like a die cut or a sticker. But it's a piece of tissue paper that I printed at home. We're gonna put this here, I think. And then, I don't know, I'm thinking, if I put him right in the center, I have all this space right here. I might put hello down here. Not sure, I might. So we're gonna decoupage him on, and then we're gonna add more paint on top. Denise is asking, how did you print the gnome on tissue paper? I just taped the tissue paper to a regular piece of paper, and then I run it through my printer. That's all I did. It takes some practice, particularly because I don't know what kind of printer you have. I took all the other paper out and I use a backfeed printer. My inkjet printer is a backfeed printer. It's not a tray underneath, it's a backfeed. So I just taped the tissue paper on top of a regular piece of paper, just taped the edges around, and then printed it, and then separated them. It was that easy. So easy, Denise. Good question. You guys are so sweet. Tammy said, that's because you're so special. Deborah says, I'm a gnome lover. I love making them. It never gets old. Who else loves gnomes out there? I do actually love them. I think they're really sweet. I just am not drawn to creating with them normally. I'm normally not drawn to creating with them, but today I was feeling gnomey. I was feeling a little gnomey, girls. Hello, Brenda Fulham. She says, I'm on my laptop, so let's try saying hi here. Well, Brenda, we see you. I pay about 12 bucks a month for ink. They watch and send me ink. You use a lot of ink, friend, if you do 12. Holy buckets. Kathy, girlfriend, you are a busy creator. Yeah, my printer is old enough that I can't use that monthly printer subscription. I'm actually thinking about updating it so that I can use that ink, that toner update, like where you just pay monthly. I think HP, is it HP or Epsom that has it, where you pay 10 bucks? They both have it, but one of them, it's 10 bucks a month and it knows when your toner is low and it just sends you, no matter how much you use, it just sends you new toner or ink, whatever your printer uses. I love that idea. I just don't, my printer's so old, they can't do it with mine. Oh gosh, it's funny, isn't it? I use tissue paper, Brenda, to print out the Gnomey. Okay, Christy sends a lot of stuff to her UPS store and they print them for her. I didn't know the UPS store did that, so thank you for sharing that, Miss Christy from Funky Junk Inspiration. It's tissue paper, Renee. I just printed it on tissue paper. I got it off Amazon. I can share the link in my Amazon store for you guys so you have it. A stars party. I know. I'm so behind on comments, you guys. Good morning, Lynn Collins. Hello, Nancy in Colorado. Okay, so Teresa's saying, I'm not a gnome fan. The house is so adorable, isn't it? With the little lantern and the flowers up in the window. And I love the branch that goes around the door. I love that. I love the little set of stairs with the mushrooms growing on top. Let's get it down on here. I'm going to use my same liquid medium that I used to liquefy my green paint to glue this down. So I'm going to put a little bit of that there. I need a new brush. I need a clean brush, friends. We need a clean brush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this not to my tissue because my tissue is very fragile and delicate. I'm going to apply it directly to my paint. And it's thin, so you don't, I mean, it's an extender. You can use this to extend the dry time of your paint. So it's not going to dry super fast. What do I have there? Oh, it's part of my texture. It's not going to dry super fast, but you don't want to spend all day with this, right? So it's just, you want to get it done while you can. Okay, I'm going to just put down part of it. So I just put the gnome down. I still have this up. I'm going to use this brush with a little bit of that glue on it, and I'm just going to go over him. I'm going to try to turn this so you can see what I'm doing. Try to do it without ripping my paper. Okay, so he's down. The Gnomey is down, and now I'm using my brush to just, and I have glue already down here. I'm just using my brush with a little bit of that liquid on it, and I'm brushing it down. Oh, my fixative didn't set it all the way. I'll show you what I mean. So my ink is budging a little on me. I used a fixative, but it's still budging a little, and I'll show you what I mean here in a second. Did I print out another one of these? I know I did, but I think I left it in my office. I want you to pay attention too, right here by the lantern. Remember I showed you that I wasn't gonna fussy cut all that paper off of the project. It's tissue paper and it's gonna melt right into my project. So I'm gonna show you. So right now you can see that paper. You can see it because I haven't glued it down, but once I wet it, it like melds right into that green. See how you can't see it here anymore, the tissue paper, but up here you can because it's not glued down yet. So when I hit this with the liquid, then you can't see that white tissue paper anymore. It literally just disappears into the project. My fixative didn't set it completely. See my ink right here? You can see the ink is smearing just a little bit right there. So what I would say to you, I've not had trouble with this before, so I'm actually a little bit surprised. So what I would say to you, if you're gonna try this for the first time, printing something off and then using it on a project. What I would suggest to you when you get your printable, you can buy this printable on my website for $1. Print it out. Print it on regular paper, just regular printer paper. Then take any liquid, even water, and take your printed gnome on the paper and just rub it with water and see if the ink moves. If it's depends on the type of printer you have and the type of liquid in your print, or toner is actually a powder. If you have toner or if you have ink, they react differently. A laser printer should stay permanent, shouldn't smear on you, but inkjet printers like this one, when you rub the print, the ink is gonna smear. And there are a couple of tricks for setting that. Now I used a fixative spray and I usually don't have trouble with that. I probably should have done another coat of it. But to get around it, if I keep rubbing on that ink with my brush, with anything liquid on it, that brown color is gonna keep smearing out of the project. And I don't want that to happen. So I just hit it once with the glue, and it's enough to get it down on the project. You can see, you can't see any of the tissue paper. It just melts right into the project. All you get is the little Gnome and his cute, cute, cute little house. It's most evident around here because I did not cut out any of that paper. I didn't cut it out. So you can see me, I don't go through all the effort of fussy cutting around that. You can. I usually just tear around it as close to the project, the design as I can, and then glue it down. But I would say if you've never done this before, give yourself some grace and just try it and practice and play with it. Don't play on a purchased surface. Like you bought a surface and you want to do the project on there, but you're not sure how your printer is going to work. Do it on the back of a cereal box, on a piece of paper, on an Amazon box, like on a piece of watercolor paper. Do it on something else first and practice it and see what your ink or your toner does. And then you can make a decision there whether or not you can go right on your board. If you need help, message me. Text me on my number or message me. You're loving it, Charlotte? Isn't it so cute? Vicki is a newbie from Tennessee. You think the smear adds character? It's not too bad. I noticed it quickly enough that it's not even really noticeable. And this is why I love textured backgrounds, and I love backgrounds that have variety in the color, so that it gives you some like wiggle room for that kind of stuff. Like, oh, I wasn't intending for that to smear, but it did a little, but it won't matter at all because nobody's gonna notice it. But welcome, Miss Vicki, to the Comfy Desk with Grace. Thanks for being here. All right, let me check my time quick. Let me check because we have till 9 o'clock. Yeah, we got 8 minutes, girls. I think, you tell me. So I have this Hello Sunshine, and I was thinking of just putting the hello down here, like in this corner. What do you think? Should we put the hello down here? I actually could put the sun. I could put hello. I could put the sun up here too. That would be really cute to have just like part of the sun. You tell me in the comments. Should we stencil or no stenciling? I'm gonna dry this while you guys are commenting. Whoops. I left space. I purposefully put it high so that we could stencil. Oh my gosh, he's so cute, you guys. I'll be honest with you. This is probably gonna end up in my auction. I'm gonna do a live auction coming up. This is probably gonna end up in the live auction because as a creative business owner, we demonstrate and we teach workshops. Like for my membership clubs, I end up with 2 of every project every month because I do the sample one and then I do the one when I teach the workshop with them. And you can only have so many, right? So I think I'm gonna do a live auction where I've got some junk journals and some projects that are gonna be auctioned off. All right, I think now you'll be able to see a little more. If you look on the texture right above the house, like right where my finger is, you'll see where that, the color of the gnome house, I need a little more glue right there. You can see how it's smearing onto there. It's like just, you see a little bit of that brown right there. It's not problematic because I'll tell you what, I had already pulled out my brown paint and I was thinking I would dry brush a little bit of brown. I'm going to use the same brush that I was using for my glue because it's an acrylic. This is another Waverly paint that I've had for years and it is so thick. It's that thick. So my acrylic medium, I'm coming over here and I'm gonna mix the brown in with my acrylic medium. I'm gonna get most of it off my brush actually. I'm gonna get most of it off. I don't want a lot of it on my brush. I just want my brush to have a little bit of brown on it because my plan was to come in here and do a little dry brushing on all of this texture. If I drag my brown over that texture, you see what's happening? Now it really looks like stucco. I don't even have to do it over the whole thing, but if I just do it, do you see how light my touch is? Like barely touching, but it really pulls out all of that gorgeous texture that we created. I created the texture because I want it to show. I want it to look textured and grungy. He looks like he's in a forest with his little mushroom looking house, right? Gnomes live in kind of like forest area. So we don't want his background to be perfect. So I'm just taking my brush with the tiniest bit of brown paint on there and I'm dragging it over all that texture. I'll try to show you really, you just hit it. The harder you hit it, the more color you're gonna get. But do you see why I say, you know, a background that has multiple colors, that has texture, even if you had a little bleed through with your color there, nobody's going to notice it, I promise you, friends. I'm going to come around the whole thing and I'm even a little bit over the gnome's house because I don't want to have it uneven. I want, like, if I'm going to put a little bit of brown, dry brushing, I want to do it. I'm not going to hit the house because he's darkened. The house is dark enough, but I'm trying to get close to the house. And I really want to hit all those high spots that I created with that texture. It just looks yummy. It looks yummy and it looks interesting. And you can do whatever color combinations you want. You don't have to do anything particular. No one's the boss of you, right? So what do we think? Should we put the word hello on here? It looks great. Hey, Melissa. My friend Melissa's here from the Graceful Barn. Hello, Melissa. It's adorable. You love fairy gardens. Karen, you can get this on my website. It's $1 for the downloadable. It's like a printable. So you pay the $1. There's no shipping charge because there's nothing to ship to you. And then as soon as you pay the $1, the screen is going to give you the downloadable file and you just click on it and open it up. You can save it to your desktop or print it out right there. So you can have some creative fun with this guy too. Charlotte's loving it. Joy's welcoming folks. Thank you, Joy Meyer. You're the best. So Janine says the smearing, it gives it a soft, hazy look. Right? Oh my gosh, he's so cute. He's so cute. You're getting this? Deborah says, I'm getting this. I love it. Listen, I can go crazy with this part of it because I really love the look of the dry brushing. I think I want to make the outside parts a little darker. So I'm going to take the edge of my brush and I'm just going to hit kind of at an angle. I'm just going to hit the top of the board on the bottom to get really like a dark framing. I call it framing, but I'm trying to hit the edges to give myself like a darker mark there. And I'm going to do it all the way around because it helps to frame and anchor. So I'm going to put it down and just do this quick. I need a little more paint, I think. Yep. It shouldn't take long. And I do like my edges where the corners are to be a little bit more, a little darker. Like right in here, I want that to be, I like my corners. I don't know why, it's just me. I like my corners to be a little darker. Tina says, I love it. I have to get it. Joy says stencil. Oh, Joy, what time is it? I got 2 more minutes. I'm gonna run out of time for stenciling. Maybe I'll do that later. I'll show you guys a picture later in the Craft Round the Clock group and on the page. But I'm gonna hit these edges with a little bit of dark. And I don't want to forget, you guys. So the top portion is all decorated. I can stencil the word hello if I want to. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I'll decide that later. But what I was going to say to you is don't forget to hit these edges. I mean, I think you're not going to want them to be super plain. So take that little bit of dry brushing and make sure you dry brush these edges too. so they match, right? So just hit them with a little bit of that coloring. Doesn't have to be anything major, just a little bit. If you like what you saw today, please, I would be so honored if you would follow the Comfy Nest with Grace. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome. To all my regular crafty chicks who hang out with me, thanks for joining me. Let me check the time one more time. I am live for Craft Round the Clock. So coming up next is another crafter inside that group. You can find it here on Facebook, Craft Round the Clock. And every 45 minutes is a new creator or crafter that you can get introduced to. Thank you, Trisha, for saying it's super cute. Grace, you got me going craft room here. Craft room, here I come. All right, well, you guys go make something Gnome. If you do this project and you're in one of my membership groups, I would love for you to share your project photos so that all the other gals in the groups can see, even if it's in the free group, the Crafty Chicks Club, here on the Comfy Nest with Grace. You can grab this printable, you can grab the board on my website, thecomfynestwithgrace.com. I appreciate every single one of you. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Go make something pretty that brings your heart joy. Bye.